Coming up on .tv tonight are all your favourites. Buyer's Guide Masterclass and Chips, followed by an online gaming special in Game Over at 10, Techsperts at 10:30, and the second episode in the three-part series Made in Japan at 11:30.
Hello, welcome indeed to the Buyer's Guide. We, of course, are the programme that bring you the hottest technology in IT. Joining us today is our resident games expert, Ash Jones. Explain, Ash, why I did that.
We are looking at Severance, Blade of Darkness, and an assortment of speakers.
It's all too realistic when he does those funny faces. As ever, dealing with your letters and emails, it's Chris Long.
Well, I'm completely incapable of acting these out. We've got a question about graphics cards and techie philosophy at the end, which is coming straight from you.
Techie philosophy, an oxymoron if I've ever heard one. Let's press on with the Buyer's Guide. OK, so it's a game first, isn't it?
Yes, game on. Now, this is Severance, Blade of Darkness. It's been out a couple of weeks.
Severance, Blade of Darkness. Now, is this a long-running thing? Will there be lots of people saying, oh, great, that one?
It's long anticipated. It's not one in a sequence. Okay. It is the first in this sequence. What I like about this, it is a hack-and-slash fantasy first-person kill-em-up, I guess, would be... it's making up as I go along. You can play as one of four characters, quite typical in this genre. What we have, if I flick through them, we can see the different characters. You can play as this knight, who's a sort of middle-of-the-road character who...
Has the Sean Connery figure.
Yeah, he does look. He's yeah, absolutely sort of Highlanderish sort of thing going on. You can see the cosmetics of this are absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic.
This is the Barbarian. Now, the Barbarian is all strength. No stealth, no speed, all strength, and you can see he's quite a butch bloke with a big sword. Oh, just hanging out. I love this. Next round.
Should we call him the German?
He looks a bit Teutonic. Now this is the Amazon. Now the Amazon is an almost exclusively stealth character. You can see she's got a bow and arrow. She's not.
I wasn't looking at that. Yeah. Yes, you're right.
She's not particularly strong. But she can move stealthily, and she takes people out long distance.
She's implausibly feminine, isn't she?
What a lovely way of putting it. She's a lovely girl and a pride to her family, and handy with a quiver. OK, and
she throws that bow and arrow into her life, doesn't she?
I think you've had enough of her.
Who's this?
And this is the dwarf, who again is a sort of middle character, quite strong and fairly slow.
Strong, slow, but he shaves his underarms.
Which is a lovely thing.
I like that.
So I think we're actually going to go in as play as the dwarf.
We're going to play as the dwarf. Now, we can actually see some of this dwarf action.
Now, here we see this is the start of the Dwarf Sequence. And one of the things that's really important to realise about this game is each of the four characters actually works in a completely different environment. So he's waking up now at the start of his level. A little bit of spiel across the bottom of the screen we'll see in a second. But essentially, each of the characters has a completely different environment, a completely different game that you play through, which I think will really add to longevity, as well as the fact that you play in quite different ways. Because the extremes being the Barbarian and the Amazon, you know, you can either do it all as hack and slash or all as stealth.
So, one game, four characters, four narratives, so you can have four different games. Do they interact, though, a lot?
I don't think so, no. To tell the truth, in my playing it, I played mostly as the knight and a little bit as the Barbarian, and there was no interaction during the time that I played it.
Are you able to show us a bit of the game?
Yeah. Let's first of all, this is the thing that people have been raving about, is the cosmetics. You can see the fire there is just glorious. And if I turn round, I'm hoping you'll be able to see. I'll move a little bit closer to the fire. Hopefully I don't catch fire. You can see the shadow of my... Oh, no, I've caught fire.
Oh, that's a blow. Stop, drop and roll.
Yeah, stop, drop and roll. Yeah, I'm actually going to... I'm going to start that again. I'm sorry about that.
This is an 18 game, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's very important. One of the things... Actually, I can show you this while we're in here.
I didn't know that. So it's graded at 18.
We're playing it here with the gore settings off. It is actually possible to to have a parental lock on this, and that's very important with this sort of game. Most of the fuss about this game has been the fact that it's actually quite bloody. We're playing it with the gore and blood switched off.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, you know me, I'm a bit of a sociopath, I've got all sorts of problems, and I really like the violence in this, yeah? One of the things you can do, and I'll just mention it, it is an 18 certificate, so if you're playing it with the gore switched on, you actually cut people to bits, yeah, with your big axe there. I don't make up the rules, I only work here. You can actually beat opponents to death with the limbs of their former colleagues. I'm not saying you'd want to, Will, I'm just saying you can.
Well, I just think it's so completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, great cosmetics,
Yep.
4 different characters. I'm quite anxious to see Amazon at work, and we can do
well,
that.
Let me just quickly show you. I want to show you.
going to.
I'll show you that in a second. I just want to show you here a little bit of gameplay because we haven't really looked at it yet. You can just see it as we work through the environment. I'm testing, going through here with the key, and notice, a bit like Oni we saw a few weeks ago, I have to double tap on the keyboard to run. Yeah, and what I would say, my only criticism of this game, yeah, and I think it's brilliant, I played this for hours, my only criticism is the combat mechanism can catch you out. You can find yourself accidentally standing behind the guys you're meant to be sort of beating up.
A blow, isn't it?
Yeah, that can be quite upsetting. I'm just going to, hopefully...
Do it,
okay.
do fast. I mean, the poor old dwarf's looking for an enemy. He's found one.
Okay.
Oh!
Yeah, now... In this mode now, I can see, I can sort of circle him. I've locked onto this guy. I'm going to start hitting him, don't worry. Hey.
Well, OK, Ash likes it bloody and gory, and it is, but you can switch it off, and that's important, the gory bit. You like the whole gameplay of it, as you described it, the cosmetics.
Yep. Having played it for a long time, yeah, it is quite linear. Talked about this before, you know, where you have to solve puzzle A before you can reach puzzle B. But I found this incredibly playable.
Okay.
Really, really entertaining.
OK, I like the word linear. I also like the word organic. How much is it?
It's only $24.99.
You're going to need some good spec on that.
Yeah, it really is one of these games that really requires power from your PC. To get the best. OK, it's out now. Forgotten what it's called already. Severance Blade of Darkness, £25. You're watching The Buyer's Guide. And smoothly on to matters of news import. Isn't it nice, the news? It's good to have the news. And this is exciting news. It's the news about Game Boy Advance. Now, we've been waiting for this for such a long time. Game Boy been a huge success for over, what, 15 years?
Yeah.
Crazy. It's out in Japan now, as we speak. Now, when it came out in Japan, $82 it is, which is 9,800 yen, of course, for us cosmopolitan types.
It's about £60.
Yeah, very good. And it's actually out in the US, which is probably going to be closer to the European release, June the 11th, and it's going to be about $100 in the US.
£70. It's going up.
Absolutely. By the time it gets to us, it'll be £100.
It's cheap in Japan because nobody's buying anything. They're just keeping the prices down. So it's not, I mean, look, if you're happening by, happening by downtown Tokyo, I should pick up a bargain or two.
High-spec machine, and also it's going to, it integrates with the GameCube. So when that comes out, it sort of forms a whole system. So it's going to be a very important, very big product.
Are you panting for it?
I am. I've got to say, I'm panting for it.
Thanks for that. As well as news, we bring you because you ask us questions, puzzlers if you like, and we try and solve them via Chris.
Via Chris, via the expert. Richard Ridder has emailed in. He says, I'm looking for a way of playing my PC games and DVD movies on my TV and looking for the best quality I can get. Currently, I have a Voodoo 5 5500 AGP card. Can you help? What should he do?
What should he do? Now, I've got quite a lot to say about this.
Oh.
Right? Oh, no. Because I've been down this road myself. And first of all, the main thing is, if you want to do PC and DVD playback on your TV, you're immediately compromising yourself. Yeah? If you wanted to just use DVD, there are separate hardware decoders, about £50, £60, by Hollywood and by Creative, that just decode DVD, and they give you very good results. Okay? Better than most domestic DVD players. If you, however, you also want the PC image on your screen, then you just want a normal graphics card with a TV out. Most of the NVIDIA ones will do it, and I would go for an NVIDIA Geforce MX or something like that. It gives you good 3D and TV out as well.
But fundamentally, you need a TV out on your card. Thank you.
No, thank you. OK. Look at this. I've been busy. Speakers. Some very sexy-looking ones over here, but that you're not impressed about the sound. Some not particularly sexy ones, but great sound. and a very cheap one that looks expensive. Let's take them in order.
Thanks for summarising what I'm going to say.
Well, let's do that then. But we need the detail.
Yes, absolutely. Let's hone in on the detail. Starting over at the left, what we've got there is some flat speakers from Trust.
That's the issue there. Look at that.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Now, we looked at some standalone flat panel speakers from Trust months ago. This is a sort of subwoofer flat panel speaker combination. Now, can I be appallingly a little bit girlfriend friendly? Yeah, that you're not going to occupy a lot of space. You're not going to make the room all untidy.
I think that is outrageous.
Thanks, Will. Thank you for correcting me. I feel better about myself as a person.
It's the other way around in our house. I hate wires. I hate yuckness.
Oh, there we go. Now, obviously, the idea here is these take up very, very little room. We've got them sort of sitting on their little stands.
You can see how big they are. Look.
You can actually remove those stands on the side of your monitors. Yep, very.
Get that out or picture.
Yeah, a little 3-inch subwoofer driver in the main unit. Let's switch it on, and we can hear it. Okay, there we go. So let's turn it up a little bit. Turn it up.
I'll lean over.
Okay.
So you can hear from my microphone.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you know, I'm not one for very, very good top quality sound. Sounds okay to me. How much am I going to spend on this?
This is $49.99. What I would say about it is it's a little bit middly. I found this with these flat panel speakers. They don't seem to have the real highs, and also the subwoofer in there is only 3 inches, and it doesn't have the real lows.
Okay.
So the sound's a bit middly.
Okay, but for £50.
And it's very, very space efficient. So it depends what's important to you.
Girly, space efficient. Now this beauty has 2 space efficient speakers on the top.
Yes.
But a whopping space inefficient
That would be
woofer.
a girlfriend unfriendly subwoofer.
Don't know, she could sit on it and knit.
That's keep herself busy. Very good. And he went home to an empty house. What we've got here is a far more traditional, bigger subwoofer. And if we hear the sound come through this...
Here's the sound.
Now, I don't know if you can tell this at home, but this is far, far deeper. Also, the highs are far, far brighter. So this, I think, is an amazing
I can
deal.
hear that's a better audio.
Provided your desktop has got room for these little surround speakers, this sits under your desk. And this is actually $39.99. It's by Labtech. It's the Pulse 424. I think that's a terrific combination for £40. Very, very good highs.
So do I. I've just spent £500 on speakers. That was a mistake.
But that's an excellent multimedia solution, I think.
Whilst I've seen these designer speakers around, and they cost multi-thousand pounds.
I bring this forward. Yeah, what this is actually very reminiscent of are the B&W speakers. I've seen them in pop videos and the like, and they were sort of, I think about £20,000. These are £400.
Look at them sideways. From the front, they always remind me of a little baby. You want to cradle it. You know what I mean? From the side, they remind me of my German teacher from school, and from behind, they remind me of a car.
I'd like to do a Rorschaching blot test with you now. What we've got here at the back, of course, these are the normal speaker connectors, so it is just a straightforward speaker. It's got, if I bring it round to talk a little bit about the technology, like I say, it's $399.99. This is a Kevlar speaker, which is not particularly coloured. Now, what that means is it's closer to a multimedia monitor type speaker than a hi-fi speaker. You can use it with a hi-fi.
Now, I'm going to stop you there, because that's a really interesting point, because you get hi-fi speakers, and in terms of clarity, they're not particularly brilliant, are they? What they're actually trying to give you is a smooth sound with bass and top. Whereas a monitor speaker is looking for clarity. It's looking to accurately reflect the sound recorded.
It is exactly that word, high fidelity, which people often misuse. It's the most like the original source. This has got this bass reflex port, so even from a relatively modest bass driver, you still get quite good bass response.
So is this good? I'm sorry, I missed the top. Is this good for monitoring?
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it is.
So, you know, if you're one of these creative people who like to actually make your own music, this is a good one to do, because you'll hear the clarity.
And I think how impressed your friends will be. Blue Room Mini Pods, £400. Get in.
Me? Can't stand the way they look. OK, thanks very much for that great upsum of speakers. Very impressed with the girly ones, to be honest, because of the space-saving thing, and I hate the amount of space taken up on your desktop.
The thing is, I can see you putting your thumb through, well, not you necessarily, but someone putting their thumb through one of those cones very quickly. What's that in there? Oh, oops, that kind of thing. Shall I get on with it?
Well, yeah, if you want to.
OK, thanks. Well, why not bother? We've had some techie philosophy. It's off of the forums, and this is, well, the philosophy of life if you're a techie, and we want more of these in. What boots up must go down, which is kind of nice. Facts is stranger than fiction. F-A-X. Yeah, I see you smiling. Don't bite off more than you can chew, than you can view. Bite, B-Y-T-E. I think it kind of like fades out a bit.
So the whole theory here, because the penny has just dropped. It's all about tech philosophy.
Yes, techie philosophy. That's that. You know, when I was introing it and said this is techie philosophy.
Yeah.
Anyway, the geek shall inherit the earth, which I think will be nice for a lot of
great, isn't it?
A lot of people here. When you did that move, am I finishing or am I carrying on?
No, you got one more.
Oh, okay. The email of the species is more deadlier than the male.
When it works.
When it works.
Thank you very much for that. Who is that?
From Dad. It's DAD. That's his name on the forum. So thank you,
Thanks
Dad.
very much for that, Dad. And for you to contribute, here's the address: buyersguide@sky.tv, channel.co.uk. It's all there in front of you, and you can check that address out too at the forum, which is at tvchannel.co.uk/buyersguide. Okay, Ash, as ever, a sound briefing there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, don't get too gory. And thanks also to Chris for monitoring your emails, which, as ever, were marvellous.
Got time for one more?
No.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much. That's left you salivating for the next time we meet you on The Buyer's Guide.
Mark helps you hot up your home videos with some great budget software in the all-new masterclass after the break.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Ooh. Ooh.
Forward to in the future, but first here's what's happening at the moment in the news.
Virtua Fighter 4 has finally been unveiled to the world. The new beat-em-up, powered by Naomi 2 arcade architecture, was showcased at the recent AOU coin-op show in Japan and looks stunning. Fighters look more realistic with intricate flipping muscles. The backgrounds have also increased in complexity, and there is promise of 2 new characters for gamers to get to grips with. In a shock move, Rare's eagerly anticipated Nintendo 64 title, Dinosaur Planet, has been canned. Okay, that was a lot of sensationalism on our part, sorry. The game has actually been ported to Nintendo's new console, the GameCube. The reason? Well, there are a lack of quality launch titles for Nintendo's new machine. So we reckon Rare has been forced to upgrade the visuals and sound and turn the game into a must-have title for the next generation machine. This is probably a good thing in the long run, but will no doubt upset Nintendo 64 owners. The Geforce 3 and Doom 3 have both been showcased at, shock horror, the Mac Expo in Tokyo. It seems Apple will be getting Nvidia new graphics technology before PC manufacturers, and they showed this off by getting Steve Carmack of games developers id to demonstrate some early code of Doom 3. The game looks stunning with ludicrous amounts of detail and dazzling lighting effects, but this is still very early code, and the game won't be out for ages. Oh well, you'll have to wait patiently, but salivate over this footage in the meantime.
We'll get to the online stuff in a minute, but first we came across some footage of The Simpsons in a ringside wrestling shocker. Here's the details in TBA.
Yellow means chicken, but it's not the case here as the Simpsons are pitted against each other in the ring for a WrestleFest. They've been in platformers and arcade beat-em-ups before, but this is the first time we've seen the dysfunctional family knocking 10 bells out of each other. The graphics remain true to the TV series in a 2D, but at the same time 3D style that's becoming more and more common, and there are 13 characters to play, as well as cameo appearances from the rest of the cast. And watch out for special moves, such as Marge getting Maggie to give a helpful hand, and Barney's alcohol-fueled burps. Well, I suppose it makes a change to WWF. One of a new batch of LucasArts Star Wars games, Battle of Naboo on the N64, sees you piloting a variety of craft around the swampy planet in a way similar to Rogue Squadron. Vehicles at your disposal are boats, tanks, hovercraft and of course starships. Also look for graphically enhanced levels and fighting and new enemy artificial intelligence. One new touch is the ability to enter hangars and change your vehicle mid-mission. Sometimes this is imperative in order to complete a mission. So it's not just a shooter, it has strategy elements too, and we're sure that any Star Wars collector will snap it up when it hits the flagging console.
Thanks, where are you? My vehicle is damaged.
So a lot of people are playing online games, but what are they playing and why? Well, I thought I'd head down to the playing fields to find out. What do you like so much about Counter-Strike?
Well, at first it was just because I could kill a lot of people quite easily and I was quite good at it, but then after a while it's the team-based element of it. That's the bit that really gets you.
Well, it's really cool the way like there's two separate teams with different weapons and stuff. I like the way you can buy weapons at the start. It's like probably the best mod around at the moment.
Finally, we found a man who doesn't actually like Counter-Strike. What's so bad about it?
Oh, I just don't like the whole waiting aspect, not being able to jump into the action and take control of it yourself.
There is one game you're very good at and you like a lot, and that is?
That's Quake 3, that's the one I played professionally and I'm at tournaments all around the world doing that.
I'm looking forward to TFC 2. So I used to play a bit of TFC, but TFC 2, the mod for Half-Life looks really good. And Halo, I've been waiting for ages. Halo by Bungie Software, I think.
Halo, I think, from Bungie is looking very nice, but I don't keep too much up on the new games front. Counter-Strike's really kind of there at the moment, so I play that.
So Counter-Strike would be your favourite?
Definitely, without doubt.
Are there any online games that are coming out shortly which you're looking forward to?
Probably Team Fortress 2, and hopefully that from there Counter-Strike 2 might come out as well, which should be exciting.
Have you played Unreal Tactical Ops yet?
I've seen it being played, but to be honest I like Counter-Strike more than anything else.
So it seems most people are playing Counter. Surprisingly, the UK champion isn't. He's more of a Quake 3 man. Now in part 2 we'll be showing you how to play Counter-Strike properly, but first here's our guide to getting plugged in.
Most PC owners these days have some sort of internet connection, and most of us use a standard 56k modem to connect with. But let's face it, these days 56k modems just don't cut the mustard. It takes ages to connect, and then when you do, you can get an unreliable and slow connection. So what's the answer? Well, there are a number of alternatives, but like most things, it costs money. While playing games online, all 56k modem users experience high ping or lag. The proper term will be latency. Latency is basically a time delay between packets of data, which are sent from your computer and the server that you're connected to. These are measured in milliseconds, so for example, if you were playing Counter-Strike and your ping was 200, then that would mean you'd have a delay of 200 milliseconds. This might not seem like a lot, but when you're playing games online, it will make the difference between winning and losing. It can be quite frustrating playing internet games for us UK players. American gamers, for example, have access to cable modems, with pings of 20 milliseconds or less. Put simply, this means 56k modem users can be playing with 10 times more lag, a huge disadvantage. As the popularity of online gaming continues to grow, people are demanding more speed and better service when connecting to the internet. At the moment, the two fastest ways of doing this are cable modems and ADSL, or asymmetric digital subscriber line. Basically, the difference is cable connects to a cable TV line for high-speed access, and ADSL is a high-speed digital phone line. Out of the two, cable is a little faster, and is capable of increasing speed over ADSL in the future. If you're going to start playing online games, then you should at least get hold of a 56k V90 hardware modem. But don't confuse this with a software modem, because that will utilise more of your CPU power and increase your ping. Another thing to remember is to download the latest drivers for your modem, and the latest patches for the games you're planning to play. To sum things up, the big question is ADSL and cable worth the money? Well, yes and no. At the moment, ADSL works out at around £40 a month. Cable is slightly cheaper, coming in at around £25 a month. Now this may seem a little steep, but you're paying for an always-on connection, which is about 10 times faster than an analog modem. If you're a casual home user, then it really isn't worth the money. The best thing to do is to see how much your monthly internet bill comes to. If it regularly hits the £30 to £40 mark, then it's definitely worth forking out extra. And remember, if you're a serious online gamer, digital lines will definitely give you a much needed advantage and level playground to beat those low ping gamers who consistently